All right, so welcome everyone. It is Saturday, July 25th. Where, oh, where has July gone? It is absolutely crazy. But we are finishing off our Christmas in July celebration with a Santa Claus card. So the first couple of pieces you need to get ready is a red piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And a white piece that is 4 1/4 by 11. In the grand scheme of things, the width doesn't matter as much. So if you happen, I know my prototype is actually a little bit shorter because I was trying to stretch my paper. It's only 4 inches wide, but as long as you've got the lengths correct, then your width can be a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, however you decide you want to do that. So that is the first step, is to get those ready. We are going to need some white scraps for extra pieces and for some die cutting. And you'll probably want to have some black and some extra red left over as well, because we're going to punch some little circles out for eyes and for noses and all that kind of stuff. So your red card for right now to start with can just go off to the side. We're going to take our 4 1/4 by 11 piece of paper. And I realized as I'm talking, I have just jumped right in. So as always, ladies, feel free to interrupt me if you have questions. I am happy to answer them. If I'm going too fast or too slow, please just ask me to repeat or slow down. More than happy to do so. I'm thrilled to have you join us here for our last Christmas in July and for our Saturday morning Zoom. So here we go again. So again, red cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And oh, there, I need to slow down. Even my computer is freezing. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then your white piece is 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to take our white cardstock and we're going to do a little bit of scoring. So grab your scoring tool for your paper trimmer or your scoreboard. I'm going to move some of these bits off to the side here. You're going to put your paper in horizontally and we're going to score 2 lines. The first score line is going to be at 3 3/4. So right here, just before the 4, so 3 3/4. And your next score line is going to be at 7 1/4. Now I can't do that on my little scoreboard, so I'm just going to fold it in so I can get this right in the corner, and it's 3 1/2. So you want one panel. You want one panel here that is 3 3/4 and a second panel here that is 3 1/2. And we're going to make it into a Z fold like so. Your lines are not going to match, and that is okay. Because when mine did, I find it a little bit tricky to get. I'm sorry? Did someone have a question? All right, if you have a question, please feel free to shout it out. All right, so we have our 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 3 3/4, and then 7 1/4, which is 3 3/4 and 3 1/2. If you add those together, fold it into a Z. The other thing that we have to do is we need to cut some ovals. So I have some oval dies. I'm using this nested set here from Elizabeth Craft that has these fabulous dies, and some of them have little dots on them, some of them have the stitching marks. I have chosen 2. One is slightly larger than the other. The larger one is going to be for his face that goes onto our red card. The slightly smaller one is going to be for his beard. But ultimately, if you're looking through your dies and trying to figure out which ones you want to use, The larger one, you want to make sure goes all the way across your red, so it's going to be at least 4 1/4 wide. You can always trim it down. And then your beard one is just going to be the next size down. If you only have one, that's okay. We can trim it up and we can do some manipulating with that. It's really not critical. I just like having a little bit of extra space around the sides here in order to do my beard. If you have more of a bracket shape, you can use that as well. We're just really trying to get this beard shape going. So go ahead and cut 2 ovals out of your extra white cardstock. And I have to find mine. Here it is. So 2 ovals out of your white cardstock. I have to leave the camera for a second so we don't have Earthquake City and jiggle the whole thing. Out of my white cardstock here, I have a large white oval. It looks like it jiggled a little bit, but that's okay. And we have a slightly smaller white cardstock oval. We can tuck our ovals off to the side now. Out of the rest of your scrap, you need to grab your scalloped circle punch. I have one that's 2 inches. I wouldn't go any bigger than 2 inches, but if you have smaller, that's okay. You're going to punch out 2 circles with your scallop punch. So, that didn't work out so well. I'm going to switch. All right. Yeah, a little bit smaller and cuts a little bit cleaner. There we go. Put it over here. If you can please put yourself on mute, that would be awesome so we don't hear any background noise. It also helps with our streaming and make sure people don't freeze, especially me. You guys want to see what I'm working on. All right, so now we have 2 scallop circles. We have 2 ovals, one slightly smaller than the other one. Your larger oval, you can tuck off to one side. One of your scallop circles, and you're going to cut it in half. Or if you prefer using your trimmer, you can do that as well. With something this small, I'm just going to use my scissors here. We're not doing anything else with that, so you can put that off to the side with your large oval. Now we have left 1 scallop circle and 1 oval. This is where you want to pick a fun embossing folder, because what we're going to do is we are going to create some texture so that Santa's beard looks like it isn't just a flat solid piece, it's got some texture. Now mine even has flowers, and you know what? Once you've got it all together, you kind of lose the idea that they're flowers and just see that it's textured. So don't fuss too much, as long as it's got a nice random pattern to it, it's got some nice texture to it. That's the kind of pattern you're looking for. So I'm using this 3D embossing folder from, I believe it's Creative Expressions. I also had this one here that I thought about that it's actually called Splash. But the whole idea is that you are creating some texture onto Santa's beard. And actually, we are going to emboss 3 different areas for this card. You're going to emboss your smaller oval, You're going to emboss your one scalloped circle that is still a full circle. And we're going to also emboss that bottom panel. So if you look at, and again, mine's a little bit different. Actually, I don't think it'll matter for you guys. Pick your bottom panel, and that's the one we're going to emboss. So go, and when you do just a certain section, all you're going to do is line your fold up with the edge of your folder and put it in through your machine. And make sure that your plates line up with your fold. You don't want it going too far over in one direction or the other. Your plates are going to be what gives it the pressure. So again, I'm just going to sneak off camera and do my embossing. You go ahead and do the same. So we're embossing our smaller oval, our scallop circle, and just one panel of that long white cardstock that we just cut.
Sheri, can you repeat the score lines, the measurement for the score lines?
Absolutely. So the first score line is at 3 3/4.
3
3/4, so 3.75.
Yeah.
The second one, if you've got a full scoreboard, the second one is 7.25, so 7 1/4.
Yeah.
So what I had to do is, because mine doesn't go far enough, I just folded it up. So your second panel is 3 1/2. So it's 3 3/4, 3 3/4, then 3 1/2, which gives you a total of 7 1/4. All good?
Thank you.
No problem. So we're just going to do some basic embossing. I'm going to go so we don't have earthquakes. So there is the bottom of my beard all embossed, and everything else stays nice and flat. And now my second pieces can just pop inside and run through at the same time. And there you have it. You have a scalloped embossed circle. You've got a scalloped, or sorry, a round oval with the embossing on it, and you now have your panel. I will tell you that yesterday when I was playing around and doing my prototype, I thought, you know what, it would be a smart thing to just emboss a piece of paper and then put the die cut through, so that way I only have to emboss once. But you have to be careful with that, and I learned this the hard way. If you emboss first and then die cut, the process of die cutting and the pressure will actually flatten out your embossed shapes, and you're just going to have to do it again. So when you're doing this kind of dual technique, make sure that you cut first and then emboss. Learn from my mistakes. All right, so our pieces for the most part now are pretty much prepped. We just, if you want to grab your paper, we have 2 cuts to make. And basically all we're going to do is we are going to cut our ovals down so that we have a flat edge for the beard and a flat edge for our oval that is going in behind. So it's not perfectly centered. You want to have one side of your oval that is a little bit larger. So I would say aim for 2/3, 2/3, 1/3. So I'm just going to stick my oval in my trimmer here. Try to line it up with an edge over here so that you get it as straight as possible. I know with round shapes that's often challenging, but we just got that. So now I have an oval that looks like that. This is our large flat one. And I'm going to do the same thing with our small embossed one. And again, kind of a 2/3, 1/3 that you want to keep. Now I'm going to do a little bit more. So there you have it. You have a large oval with a flat line that we're going to put on the bottom, and we have a smaller oval or whatever shape you have done to go on top for the beard. Now our pieces are done, and we can jump right into assembly. So we're going to take our red card. We've got our embossed Z-fold piece here. Your flat one is going to go right onto your card, and you're going to line up that fold with the bottom of your red card. So you've got about 1.5 inches of red still showing at the top. Go ahead and tape whatever adhesive you prefer to the card. And I like to fold it so that I can just get those edges perfect. But then I'm still crooked. Always good to put it down lightly first so that you can fix. There we go. So now you have your card, you've got a flat panel, your embossed panel that's going to fold up to the top. Your beard is going to hang off the back just a little bit. If you are going to be putting that in an envelope, you may want to trim that down just a little bit. I'm going to leave it for right now. You can also keep your corner rounder if you want a nice finished edge to that as well. All right. Next, we are going to take our flat oval and, oh, now he's too big. So I'm going to have to trim mine down a little bit. I want my flat edge to go right along that top edge of my white cardstock, leaving a little bit of red at the top. So let me just trim it down a little bit. That's just going to go right there on top of your card line. So when you get it the size that you like it, you can go ahead and attach that in. For right now, we're not going to glue our beard on, but you do want to position it, get an idea. And if you have a pencil handy, which I don't, which is okay, if you even want to put a light line, what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of pink ink and just kind of make some cheeks on here, but you want that to be behind the beard. So I'm going to lift that up, get a little sponge dauber with my pink ink, and just build up some pink areas here for Santa's cheeks. You don't have to worry if you come down onto the other part because it is going to get covered up by beard. All right, so once you have his cheeks done, now we're going to attach the beard. But the trick with attaching the beard is we're going to use foam squares or foam tape if you have it, and we only want to put it along that straight edge. Because the idea is you want the beard to be lifted up so that this can tuck underneath for you. So you only want to put some foam squares right along that top flat edge that we've just cut. All right. Maybe I'm going to do a couple more just to make sure, because that's going to get some wear and tear. So you want to make sure that that beard is not going to pull off. Tape probably would have been easier, but I've got squares. It's all good. All right, I'm gonna peel out my backing. They're all sticking to my fingers today. And this top edge, like I said, it's going to overlap. It's going to be above where that connecting line is, just like so. So now, once it's in place, you can gently lift up, you can fold under, and that beard tucks under. So now he looks like he's got this big, long, continuous beard happening. And then all that's left is decorating. So our two little scallop circles, the two little halves, this one circle we cut in half, those are going to be his eyebrows. The solid one with the embossing, which on mine may not fit, is meant to be the pom-pom on his hat. Probably could have used a smaller one, but that's okay. I may not even use it. And then if you have a small circle, you can go ahead and punch a small circle out of red for his cherry red nose. So that's going to get attached there. Now, this is the smallest circle that I have in my stash here. If you have a smaller one, you can punch two little black circles for his eyes. I'm just going to take a marker and draw his eyes into place. But you can go ahead and attach those down. His little nose. Yeah. Eyebrows. Let me just go grab a black marker. So I can fill in his eyes. So I'm just going to put there and a little eyeball right there. And there is our Santa. Now I'm going to do one extra step. I got my luster polish. This one is called Snow and Ice from Cosmic Shimmer. And I'm just going to add a little bit of shimmer to his beard. If you have Wink of Stella, if you have the Nuvo glitter stuff, even stickles if you want to put on, just to give his beard a little bit of shimmer. So I'm just going to lightly rub this over and kiss the surface of where that embossed area was raised. Yeah, I probably should have done this before I stuck it down, but be careful. Just add some sparkle to Santa because he is all about the sparkle and all about the Christmas magic. A little bit extra on here. This stuff dries pretty quickly, so now I can just tuck this. If you need your product to dry, then just make sure you leave it closed, but I'm going to tuck that under the beard. And there we have it. So there you go, ladies. Christmas in July. We're finishing off with Santa. You can further embellish if you wanted to take like a little sliver of black and create a little belt for him. You could do that as well. But the whole idea is just it's got this cheery little Santa that is going to send wishes to someone you love. And the message can go inside, or like I said earlier, you could build a little pocket, put a gift card. So, ho, ho, ho. That is our Santa card for today. I'm going to hold him up so you can see. Yeah, the camera's not picking up the sparkle very nice, but let me tell you, having a sparkly Santa beard is pretty awesome. So that's it for me today, ladies. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday. Let me just stop the recording.